The other day, Melissa raised the rhetorical question, how long have they really been spying on us? How far back does this stuff go? Because obviously it's widespread, it's commonplace, it's happening on a mass surveillance level, population wide, and they're just logging and recording everything that comes through devices, telephone wires, internet communications, and everything else you could think about. But of course, they were doing this stuff in the 70s. Melissa talked about the use of Xerox machines, and they've used telegraphs and telephones. They used to bug people's apartments. But I don't know if you knew it went this far back, all the way to 1912. Not just spying, because that's age old. People have always been spying on each other, but government surveillance using technology. And the article's called Their Voices Tell Tales on Indicted Men, and it describes how a phonographic device known as a dictaphone was hidden inside of an office to record the statements and the conversations of these union members from the International Association of Bridge and Structural Iron Workers who were involved in a court case with the federal government and involving men inside the union who were being charged, who had been indicted, and who were about to go to trial. The government was eavesdropping on everything they were saying, and they had volumes and volumes of the written text of what they had said to use against them in court. And there's no mention in this article as to whether or not they had a warrant, as to whether or not the court itself knew about this or they had permission, but they admit that the district attorney had put this device in there. And here's some of the old dictaphone machines. It's pretty similar to a phonograph, but it's more compact, especially for the time period. And it's a little black box which they tucked underneath the desk and used to record the conversations, and they didn't know about it for months and months and months. The article states, this device hidden under a drawer in the desk about which Ryan the President, Herbert Hockin the Secretary Treasurer, Jay Butler, First Vice President, and other officials conferred concerning their defense and their pleas is said to have enabled 2 government stenographers in a room below to take daily reports of the conversation. And the use of the device was disclosed in the papers only after these guys in the union found it, after they got some kind of tip and found this device underneath their desk, and they started hearing on the transcripts, well, I suppose they're hearing now whatever we say. A woman was heard on the recording saying, I wonder if these wires go to the jail and whether they're listening to us now. The other person said, I suppose so. I wish I could find out where the soundboard is. And someone asked, what does a dictograph look like? He was told, it's about as big as a hat, but I've never seen one. And the other guy was going to go try to find out what it looked like. So they knew their cover was blown, and only then did they decide to make this public and stop using it after they admitted they had been using it for months. But for all the paranoid people out there and all those who've been warning for years and years about the government spying, this really was happening. And they admit in the article, the wires from the annunciator ran from the back of his desk through the floor and into a room below rented by the government. Here they sat every day, 2 stenographers under the direction of the stenographer for the federal court, and they had receiving devices, they had earphones on, and they were just typing up all this stuff day after day, and they had volumes of it. And 2 of the guys that they named in the article from the union, Ryan the President and the other guy Hockin, they said they were amazed a dictograph had been used in operation in their room, put in there covertly, without their knowledge, eavesdropping on their conversations, probably violating court procedure. But they said they suspected this before, because originally they thought the telephone wires might have been tapped. How's that for a punchline? Even back in 1912, people commonly suspected the telephones were tapped. And look how far things have gone today. 1912, people.